I survived the infamous Pokemon XD remake. Now wait a minute, now relax real quick. I know Pokemon XD hasn't officially been remade, but thanks to some amazing people in the community, they actually went ahead and updated Pokemon XD into Pokemon XG Next Gen. And if you're a fan of like ROM hacks and fan games that make the original game harder and more challenging while also adding more stuff to it, then you're gonna love this game. Pokemon XG is a Pokemon ROM hack of Pokemon XD, obviously, and they went ahead and added the physical and special split, which is not in the original game. The Gen 7 type matchup chart, including the fairy type, has been added. A new set of shadow Pokemon and other obtainable Pokemon have been added as well. There's over 100 shadow Pokemon, 50 shadow moves, and 75 wild Pokemon to choose from. Now, if you played the original Pokemon XD, you would know that's a lot of Pokemon to catch. But wait, there's more. Moves and abilities from later generations have been updated and added to the game. The game is running off mostly Gen 7 game mechanics, so, you know, if you're into that, then here we are. Oh, and guess what? The humongous cherry on top is the game is harder. The opponents are a lot more challenging. And so with all that out the way, today I'm going to be showcasing me playing through and surviving this amazing / hard Pokemon ROM hack. Let's get into the video. Leave a like and a comment, subscribe obviously if you're new, and turn on notifications, and let's go. So the game starts off with the regular Pokemon XD opening with Shadow Lugia taking the SS Libra, and honestly, I don't know how those guys survived, but they should be dead, but no, they survived. It's awkward, it's weird, but here we are. And off rip, you see the very first difference in the game is that's in the simulation. In the original game, it's you with a Salamence versus a Metagross, but in this game, it's you with a Metagross versus a Gardevoir. And this Gardevoir has access to fairy type moves like Moonblast just to showcase what new stuff has been added to the game as well. And your Metagross has Bullet Punch, Power Up Punch, Substitute, and Zen Headbutt. But let's focus on Power Up Punch because that's not in the original game. Now, after beating that stuff, obviously you're gonna go check your team. You're gonna realize that, hey, my Eevee has a lot more moves than before. Instead of Tackle, it has like Headbutt and Hyper Voice. And you also get a Zigzagoon, which I'm not gonna lie to you, is going straight into the PC, right? Come on, like relax. Anyway, you talk to your mom, you have to go find your sister Jovi. You find out she's at this weird old man's house for some reason. What's going on? You grab your PDA and you go over there to the mansion to go grab your sister. And right off the bat, listen, I love this change. They made Chobin good, y'all. Chobin no longer has that like stupid, useless Sunkern. He has a Magnemite this time. Anyway, after getting your sister back, giving her to your mom, Professor Crane calls you in to give you the snag machine, which I'm not gonna lie to you, looks way better in this game than it does in the original Coliseum. Don't add me. We're not gonna argue, relax. Anyway, Crane gets abducted, and it's time for you to get your very first shadow Pokemon. Now, off rip, you might have noticed, hey, guess what? That boy Naps does not have a Teddy Ursa in this game as he does in the original. He has a Tailo, and that Tailo is the very first shadow Pokemon you get access to. After catching him, you still fail to catch Professor Crane. You go over to Gateon Port, you fight Zook. Zook gets whacked out by Greavil and them. And this is probably where a lot of people are gonna start soft resetting in this game because I know a lot of people love the Eevee evolutions. You get access to literally all the ones available in this part of the region. Now, unfortunately, this game does not have a Sylveon model, nor can you like mod Sylveon into the game. It's okay, but all the evolutions have been reworked and now have new abilities as well. So instead of Espeon getting Synchronoise, it's Magic Bounce. Umbreon has Filter, and so on and so forth. I went ahead and I chose Flareon because Guts on Flareon just sounds really nice, which is against my better judgment because Espeon is obviously the right choice here. Either that or Vaporeon, either or. And after that, I decided to go ahead and finish up by catching the last two shadow Pokemon in this area by going ahead to the guy in the corner. And guess what? He has a Meryl instead of a Ladybug. And the lady on the lighthouse still has the same Poochyena, which is awkward, but you know, I'm not here to, it is what it is. Anyway, we head over back home and mom tells us to go to a gate city to go and find Egan, the guy with the Pikachu from Coliseum. But before we actually get to go see him, we can find the move tutor in the corner of the map. You get access to all the elemental punches and Draco Meteor, Protect, Wide Guard, Encore. What's going on? Now you might be thinking, hey, I don't need this right now. That's perfectly fine. But in the next area, you're gonna have access to a lot of moves and a lot of Pokemon that you're going to want to purify and use over here. Anyway, after grinding down and getting all our shadow Pokemon down to like being able to be purified, we have to battle Even, which mind you, he has a level 25 Pikachu and we're in our 15s, 16s, and 17s. I don't know why they wanted to do this, but sure. This thing is giving me hell, by the way. I don't know why, but it just is. Anyway, I purified Tailo. I name her Wave from Sonic Riders, and it's time to go to Mount Battle to go see Vander. Now, Mount Battle is relatively the exact same, but the coupon exchange has a lot of options for you to pick from. They got ability capsules, assault vest, choice bands, choice scarf, choice specs, Eviolite, expert belt, focus sash, and leftovers. And I'm not gonna lie to you, because I am a hacker, I went to go grab the infinite coupon code, and guess what I did? I bought items. Anyway, after making it to Vander and defeating his lackey, I went over here to the Cypher lab that was supposed to be abandoned back in Coliseum, but obviously they're still using it, and we have to fight the Sextuplets. Now guess what? These guys are really fire, because in the original game, they give you a lot of good Pokemon, but a lot of good Johto / Hoenn Pokemon, but in this one, they give you some of the best best Hoenn Pokemon to date. The green one has Trico, the red one has Torchic, the water one has Mudkip, the ground one has Phanpy, the yellow one has Electrike, and you might be wondering, wait a minute, what about the purple one? The purple one is supposed to be poison in the original game, right? No, the purple one in this game is Dragon, and you get access to a Bagon early as hell in this game. For some reason, I don't know why, but listen, who am I to complain, you know? Anyway, I take all their Pokemon and I have to sit here and think to myself, okay, what do I want my team to be? Oh yeah, then I also tell you my Marill evolved to a Azumarill, shout out Bleezy. And this is the team that I went out with. I went with Bagon, Mudkip, Tailo, Torchic, Phanpy, and Electrike. Now this is where the game gets a little bit grindy, and I know a lot of people's complaints about these games that they're really slow, but I honestly think that we are all too spoiled by the speed up button, which is why anything slow really isn't slow, it's just the general pacing of the game. Like every game has its own pacing, and I feel like Pokemon XD is one of those games. But guess what? Because I'm on an emulator, I can speed this thing up. So I went ahead and I caught almost all the available shadow Pokemons. I caught Pikachu. I evolved my Torchic and my Mudkip. Shout out Torrent and Blizz. Purified the Pikachu, of course. Snagged a Beedrill, which mind you, this Beedrill is not just a regular Beedrill. This Beedrill is a Mega Beedrill that's a shadow Pokemon. Their stats have been updated to the original Mega Evolution stats over their base stats, because I don't know why anybody would want a regular Beedrill this early in the game. Anyway, I caught Meditite and Shroomish, and then I saved Professor Crane. And now it's time for our very first Cypher admin battle, and guess what? It's against Lavrina. Now wait a minute, not gonna lie to you, she's very annoying in this game. They have it to where like she talks in like hashtags, and listen, let's relax. It's not 2013 anymore. Let's get into the battle. And let me just say, this is the very first time I've ever let a Snubbull do me this dirty. I did not think a Snubbull would give me this much trouble, bro. Wait a minute. That was not supposed to be funny. Do not laugh. But no, for real, this battle is a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Mr. Tickles hurts like hell. This thing has Play Rough, and his attack stat is nuts. Mawile wasn't so much of an issue because I burnt it, so I pretty much just had to sit there and like let it kill itself, essentially. She has a shiny Curlia for some reason named Bay, huh? Bubbles the Azumarill, or I guess the Marill might be. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I evolved almost all the team. And finally, she sends out her shadow Pokemon, the Clefairy. Now this Clefairy is a fairy type Pokemon as opposed to the normal type Pokemon that it is originally. So not gonna lie to you, I'd be a fool to catch it. Now in older games, the shadow Pokemon was the shiny Curlia, but because this game has been updated, I don't think anybody wants a overbroken shadow Curlia, but I do. I know. Anybody else? Type in the chat. Anyway, we catch Lavrina's shadow Pokemon. She gets upset, she leaves. The purification chamber gets finished, and Crane sends us off to Pyrite Town, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I love Pyrite Town. Who doesn't love Pyrite Town, y'all? Anyway, we go over to the OMBS building and meet our little kids, all grown up now, thank you. We got Net, Bit, and Meg all grown up, bro. This is so cool to see again, even though I've played this game like maybe like 50 times already, right? The mart in Pyrite Town is actually busted. This thing has like ability capsules, the choice items, expert belt, low stones that allow for trait evolutions to be evolved. And they had Poke Snacks already ready to be like bought, which was interesting because we haven't even gotten to the Poke Snacks introduction of the game yet. But after doing all the side stuff in the OMBS building, we get sent off to go meet Duking, which mind you, this is where those 75 wild Pokemon come in. Because in the original game, you only had access to like a certain amount of wild Pokemon, but in this one, I'm not gonna hold you, they went crazy with what you can get. Like I would argue some of the wild Pokemon in this game are better than some of the shadow Pokemon in this game, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anyway, we meet Duking, he tells you how to get wild Pokemon, and it's time to meet one of the greatest characters in Pokemon history. Nintendo, please remake this game. Everybody say hello to Mirror B! Now, Mirror B in this game is supposed to be like a checkpoint for the next part of the game, and in this game, there is no difference. This guy hurts. He has a full team of Ludicolo, obviously. and a Shadow Lilykoto that you can catch right then and there. He runs away. My G Tabby, the Bagon, is evolving in a Shelgon. So now our entire team right now consists of Blizz the Combuskin, Torrent the Marshtomp, Wave the Swellow, Tabby the Shelgon, Michelin the Donphan, and Sparky the Pikachu. So we head back to the OMBS building, and guess who's attacking? Cypher. I catch Pelipper and make it all the way to the top to go and fight the Commander Exalt. Now this guy, not gonna hold you, he looks like a monster, bro. He has a Kangaskhan, a Hitmonchan, a Heracross, which I burned immediately. Matter of fact, I burned his entire team immediately. He has a Croconaw out of nowhere, was not ready for that at all. And a Shadow Mawile, which obviously, if you remember from the Beedrill, this Mawile is a Mega Mawile in disguise. Anyway, I catch the Mawile, I beat Exel. I went ahead to purify a lot of the team, and my Phoenix City Arc team ended up being Blizz the Combuskin, Tabby the Shelgon, Lunamon the Clefable, which mind you is the Shadow Clefairy from Lovrina. I hate how you have to say her name. Her name is Lovrina. Saying that like fast hurts. I don't know why. Torrent the Marshtomp, Tesla the Magneton, and TD the Breloom. Anyway, we get the CD, play the thing for the lady in the room, and we grab the Mayor's Note to Justy, and we start the entire Fnac attack. Now we have to attack a lot of Pokemon trainers, damn near clear out like maybe like 15 battles in this place. And that's before you get into like the admin fight and the commander battle. We catch a couple Shadow Pokemon like Shadow Pidgeot, Shadow Pinsir, Shadow Piloswine, and then we start to head to the Coliseum, and we have to catch a Shadow Hariyama, which is, whoa. And that's where we meet Snaddle and Naps again. Well, no, his name's not Naps, it's Barney for some reason. And Barney has a Shadow Venusaur, which if you remember, it's not just a regular Venusaur, even though it could be. Oh yeah, and Blizz evolved. Anyway, I catch the Venusaur and the Ampharos on this guy's team. Like, I don't even know why you have this. And now it's time to take on Snaddle. He was hard as hell, bro. He has a Porygon 2 and a Slowking. Luckily, I was able to break those two down, but honestly, he gets to a point where he sends out an Alolan Ninetales and a Alolan Marowak. And in this game, they kind of recolored those sprites so they can like actually coexist with the original ones. Like, you can get a regular Ninetales if you want, but they're just in the game. Thankfully, I was able to catch the Ninetales, but unfortunately, due to confusion, the Alolan Marowak killed itself, and that is where my depression started to hit. I finished off the Cielo, and I freed the people of Phoenix City. Let's go! Snaddle Pack, Snaddle Pack! Anyway, I decided to detour from the original adventure and go ahead and go grab some crazy Pokemon, aka the Johto starter Pokemon, and I traded him my Aerodactyl, which you can catch inside the wild areas, for his Bayleaf, my Dratini for a Croconaw, and a Chansey for a Quilava. And they come prepared, so if you want to use these guys, you can, but for me, no, I'm good. Anyway, we try to go over to the SS Libra, but unfortunately we need an upgrade for our scooter. They have us do this entire like little like backtracking section, and it ends up with us about to fight Chobin, and this guy is a monster. He has a Metang and a Magneton. Where did you get a Metang? You never leave the place anyway. But then after you beat him, guess what? You have to fight a level 50 Robo Groudon. Like an actual Groudon, just recolored to be like this techno robot thing. And like, are you nuts? What's going on here? Anyway, after dogging Chobin, I'm able to go ahead and grab the upgrade for my scooter. We head over to the SS Libra, and we also find the next boss of Team Cypher that we have to battle. We have to fight this one guy who has a Chansey on his team that just did not want to die. And out of nowhere, this random homeless guy comes out from the back like, oh, what was all the ruckus down there? You can stay here for free. Where did you come from? He sends us downstairs to the bottom of the ship. We see Bondslide, we come outside, and Team Snag'em just comes out of nowhere, puts us to sleep, mind you. So now we're in the middle of the desert with no snag machine, a scooter, a homeless old guy in the ship. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, yo, is this safe? Anyway, we head over to the Cypher's Shadow Pokemon lair, and guess who we find? We find Zook. And unfortunately, he has Shadow Pokemon that I cannot catch. And I'm not gonna hold you, he is a lot more challenging in this game than I thought he was going to be originally. But I still won, obviously. I go talk to Sek, and he sends us over to the outskirts stands for somebody to tell us more about Team Snag'em and how to get our snag machine back. Our team right now goes as follows: Blizz the Blaziken, Torrent the Swampert, Magneton or Tesla the Magneton, Tabby the Shelgon, Lunamon the Clefable, and Brute Root the Venusaur, which we just caught a couple episodes ago. We have to rematch Mirror B, mind you, who has a Politoed this time. We have to battle Willy again. Well, not technically not again, you know, this is a whole different game, but he actually has all the evolutions on his team, and I'm not gonna hold you. For some reason, they're a lot more bulkier than normal, but I have Venusaur on my team. I'm not really worried about much. We're good. Anyway, he sends us over to the team Snag'em base, and I have to fight my way through all the way up until Gonzap. And Gonzap, low-key, swole as hell in this game. Gonzap starts off with a Mighty Enna and a Skarmory, which, mind you, this Mighty Enna does have Moxie, but who cares? Because it's still a Mighty Enna. Like, nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. What's going on with you? Nobody cares, bro. He has a Shadow Absol that I cannot cast because he has the Snag Machine, and a Feraligatr, a Crawdon, and a Nidoking, which, no lie, both the Crawdon and the Nidoking did more damage to my team than anybody else on his team. Anyway, I ended up beating Gonzap and getting my Snag Machine back, of course. And now it's time to run the fade back on Zook and take his Shadow Zangoose and be on our way. Now, this is a surprise Pokemon battle because normally in the original game, when you go up into those bodyguards who are blocking the lair, Gonzap comes and he puts those guys to sleep. But no, in this game, it's you and Gonzap actually fighting those two bodyguards, and it's not like they're like easy trainers or whatever. They come real prepared. But of course, because the AI in Pokemon is so trash, I had to basically single player the entire thing, and Gonzap kind of just sat there doing nothing. Anyway, we beat them, he puts them to sleep, we go into the lair. Now, a lot of Shadow Pokemon in this lair are crazy, bro. I would not lie to y'all. There's a Shadow Gengar in here, a Shadow Electabuzz, which I'm not gonna lie to you, were very hard to catch both of them. They just weren't coming in. I went to go catch the Shadow Politoed that Mirror B had. Anyway, come back, there's a Hitmonlee and a Lapras, all Shadow Pokemon. There's a Shadow Nidoqueen up in here, and a Shadow Ursaring and a Bayonet, which is kind of cool because obviously Teddy Ursa, you get him a lot earlier, so having a Shadow Ursaring and a Shadow Bayonet that you normally get in the later part of the game earlier is low-key kind of cool and makes me a little bit excited for what's to come in the future when we get to Citydark Island. I cast the Shadow Glalie and the Shadow Walrein and the Shadow Cloyster. Like I said, there's a lot of Shadow Pokemon here that you can just catch and make a whole new team out of. Honestly, you can make 5 new teams out of the mons they just gave you with everything else you had already. Anyway, Tabby the Shelgon evolves into Salamence finally. I love her. And guess what? I don't know how this happened, but I ended up getting a shiny Rhydon, and he was a Shadow Pokemon along with the Charizard on the side of him. And then guess what? My game crashed. So I was able to catch both the Rhydon and the Charizard, but unfortunately I didn't get to catch the shiny that I got. Anyway, we get to the top of the place and we catch the Shadow Machamp and Aggron and the Shadow Arcanine. And it's about time we start battling the Cypher admin Gorrigan. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this guy is nuts. He actually has all the Reggies on his team and they're all Shadow Pokemon. And honestly, at this point, I'm not gonna front, I did not care to catch these mons because I know the catching rates for these Pokemon are absolutely abysmal. And I'd much rather deal with Mirror B having them than Gorrigan because Gorrigan's trying to like do all this extra stuff. Actually, that's a lie. I actually went and I caught the Regirock. I caught his Shadow Steelix and the Claydol, and that's about it. Now, if I knew that they were gonna scatter the Reggies among the admin, I was finna be like, no way. I gotta catch these things, but thankfully, I was able to take all of Gorrigan's Shadow Pokemon perfectly fine with no problem at all. Anyway, Greevil invites us to Citydark Island. We have to start preparing for the end game of the game. But first, Professor Cranes asks us to come visit him for a minute. He gives us the Master Ball, and it's about time we go through and we defeat Team Cypher in Citydark Isle. We get Robo Kyogre, which you find out they've been sitting there in Kamiko's lab at the bottom part basement. And coincidentally, it's finally done. So now my team is Shockwave the Electabuzz, Lissa G the Gardevoir, Ric Flair the Charizard, Harry the Heracross, Manny the Walrein, and Kaida the Dragon Knight. We catch a Shadow Gyarados, a Shadow Wailord, a Shadow Nidoking, and one of my favorite Pokemon, a Shadow Milotic, which I actually used to basically replace my Walrein. No shame in my game. Also a Shadow Slowbro, which is also not a bad choice. Anyway, after catching that little small roundabout of Shadow Pokemon, it's time to rematch Lovrina, and I wouldn't say she's hard per se, but she is definitely a lot more challenging than she was originally. The Mawile and the Gardevoir returns. Mr. Tickles is fully evolved. I'm scared. She has an Altaria, which is a Shadow Pokemon, which, mind you, remember what I said about the Mega Evolutions? That Altaria is also a Fairy type now. Mr. Bubbles, the Azumarill, is here. And then finally she sends out her Mr. Mime, which is also a Shadow Pokemon. So now she has a Shadow Altaria and a Shadow Mr. Mime. Not gonna lie to you, both were hell to catch. but I did it. You know what I'm saying? I do this normally, you know? Anyway, it's time to catch some more shadow Pokemon. Next, we catch a Shadow Blastoise, a Shadow Mantine or Mantine. I don't know. How do y'all say it in the comments? And also a Shadow Hitmonchan. Fire. We do a couple of puzzles in the underground of the island. I catch a Shadow Crawdon, which obviously Crawdon in this game has been buffed to his generation like 6+ stats. So knockoff hurts like a truck. And before we go in the elevator, we reached probably the hardest part of this island in this game so far. We have to fight 2 bodyguards back to back with no healing. And I'm not gonna front, this was challenging, bro, because they had a Shadow Metagross that I really wanted to catch, because why not, right? It's a Shadow Metagross. And you get these Shadow Pokeballs that like help, right? I eventually get the Metagross. Then they send out a Shadow Shuckle. Like, bro, what's going on here? Yo, say that like all together. Shadow Shuckle, Shadow Shuckle. That's crazy. What? We're still catching more Shadow Pokemon. We catch a Shadow Blissey, which is kind of cool. And we make it all the way up to the top of the island, and we have to rematch Snaddle. And oh my God. Porygon 2 and Slowking return, or Slowking returns might be. Marowak is here also, but this time it's not an Alolan Marowak. And this guy Snaddle comes out with an Articuno and a Regice, both Shadow Pokemon. Not gonna front, I killed the Articuno because I do not care for Articuno at all. He's trash. And I tried to catch the Regice, but it just wasn't going in, bro. So I said, screw it, I don't care, bro. And that is the end of Snaddle, thank God. But we're not done. We still have 4 more major fights to go through. This time we have to fight Ardos, and I don't wanna say he's a lot more challenging per se, but off the bat, he has a Shadow Zapdos ready for you. The Wailord he had right next to him was no problem, but then he came out with like a Shadow Lantern for some reason. He put out a Metagross and a Manectric, body both of them things easily. And that's pretty much it. And then out of nowhere, this guy Gorgon comes out again, ready for some more smoke. Like, bro, please, I'm gonna throw your monkey ass in this goddamn lava. Anyway, this guy has a Shadow Flygon, which, mind you, it's 2022. Nobody cares for Flygon anymore. I ended up killing the Flygon because I didn't care to have it. I don't care. I never said I was gonna catch all the Shadow Pokemon. I just tried to. Gorgon had a Cacturn and a Donphan and an Aerodactyl, which both got destroyed. But then he pulls out, right, you ready for it? He pulls out a Shadow Tyranitar and a Registeel. Now, if you don't know, I'm a humongous Tyranitar stan. That's Vast Tyranitar, that's my guy, right? Both of these two right next to each other scare the absolute hell out of me, bro. So Diesel, shout out my G Diesel, we're gonna sit here and try to get there and get a burn off on the Tyranitar so we can at least get him down a little bit. But then we're also gonna try to catch his Registeel too. Anyway, I end up catching Tyranitar after a couple of tries. And I think I killed the Registeel because I don't care for the Regis at all. I'm not gonna sit here and do this legendary capturing thing. It's just annoying. And now it's time to take on the best of the 2 sons, Eldest. Now, he wasn't so bad. He had like a Charizard and Executor, which was a Shadow Pokemon. So off rip, he's working off with a Sun team. I'm not ready for it, but here we are. Shiftry and Ninetales come out, which, oh my goodness, it just gets worse. Now, thankfully, I was able to just sit there and just Dragon Dance for a little bit. So obviously my Dragonite was the sweeper here, and he had a Shadow Moltres, which it's Moltres. I don't care for Moltres. Come on, dog, it's not Galarian, so who cares? And I killed it. Duh. Finished off the Ninetales, and now it's time to go and battle Greavil. Now, Greavil, I'm not gonna hold you, Greavil is a mess because they have you do 2 battles with Greavil and the Shadow Lugia thing, right? So he starts off with his regular base team. He has Marowak, Absol, Altaria, Executor, and that's it, right? These are all non-Shadow Pokemon. You beat him, he's easy. Then he sends out Shadow Lugia, and obviously it's 2022. I'm throwing a Master Ball at this damn thing. And this is where the real challenge comes in, because if you remember, this man Greavil has an entire team full of Shadow Pokemon. And this, I'm not gonna front, is no joke. He has a Shadow Alakazam and a Shadow Snorlax to start off with. Now, in my mind, I think I wanted to try to catch all of them at the time, but honestly, they just kept hitting so hard that I think I just said, screw it, bro. I don't care, dog. This is nuts. He pulled out a Shadow Slacking and a Shadow Tauros. I got scared, y'all, because those 2 Pokemon together hit like trucks, and they were attacking my Dragonite, and I was sitting there. I couldn't do anything. I suck. Luckily, I was able to get Harry to Heracross, to kill the Tauros. Kaida has like 13 things of HP out of nowhere. Alakazam comes back out, but thankfully Kaida was able to kill the Slaking on an outrage. But unfortunately, Kaida had to die. But Alakazam didn't last long. He got pin missiled and Alakazam is gone. Then I realized the Snorlax is a shadow shiny Snorlax. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're almost done. This guy, Greevil, pulls out a Shadow Salamence. What the are you serious? A Shadow Salamence, y'all? So I damn near give up hope. At this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna lose this. Half my team is gone. I'm gonna die here. Salamence goes for the Shadow Sky, Snorlax, Shadow Hunter, and I sit here and I just watch Harry get destroyed, right? The Shadow Sky kills out Harry, unfortunately. I think I kill the Shadow, yeah, I do kill the Shadow Pokemon in this game. I killed the Shadow Salamence, and then Shadow Dragonite comes out. Now, if you remember, Shadow Dragonite is Mirabee's Shadow Pokemon at the end game of Pokemon XD. And like I said, at some point, these guys were hitting like trucks that I just did not care to catch them. And that was just gonna be a long, long thing. Plus, I didn't even have a lot of Ultra Balls anyway on me, oddly enough. And you can buy the Shadow Balls, but like, I only had like 10 at the time. I didn't wanna go back all the way back to the mart to get them. It just wasn't in the plans, bro. But after beating him, there you go. They threatened to destroy the island, which is nuts to me, because what's wrong with you? I'm still on here. You should have a whole team on this island. Eldest talks him down, and they close and disband Cypher. Let's go! But anyway, that is Pokemon XG Next Gen, my favorite game, and one of my favorite ROM hacks of my favorite game. It was really an honor to play this game again for like the 100th time at this point, and I'm happy to share this adventure with you guys. If you guys like to see the separated part of this little playthrough, be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and go in the description section below to go to the playlist so you can watch each part separately, as opposed to, I guess, this little chopped down narrative version of the playthrough. Anyway, let me know what game you guys want to see in the comment section below, and let's go.